Alrighty. This is my first time being live. So, um, peace and blessings. It's the Queen of Spades. I was asked to do a video on ways to cast protection. So, I'm going to tell you some of the easiest ways that I know of that have worked for me, have proven to work for me. And I'm just going to go from there. Give me 1 second. So dim. Ah, there we go. Okay. Lights turned down. I don't know how. But anyways, so one of the first ways I learned to protect myself was with sea salt. Um, I just table salt, although you can use table salt, but sea salt is a little bit more potent. It's a little bit stronger. Um, it's just more potent than the regular table salt, but you can use both. Um, when I was a little girl, um, probably about 5 or 6 years old, I remember seeing the canister of salt. It had a little girl with an umbrella and a yellow raincoat on the front, and she was basically, walking in the rain. And then on the back of that canister of salt, there was a writing, and it said, encircle yourself with a ring of salt to protect yourself from vampires, demons, and witches. Um, so as a little girl, I was like, so wait, these exist? Like, they really exist? And I was like, I guess I should have been like nervous or scared, but it just intrigued me that much more. But I learned early on to protect with sea salt. So, quick story. An ex that I was with, his father's girlfriend, the ex's father's girlfriend. You keep it up. um, there was something very dark and off about her. At the time, I'm coming from a religious background, and I was in my early 20s. So we would go to his grandmother's house, and she would be there, with his father. She was talking about like toads, finding lots of toads under a bed when she went to move the bed to rearrange the room, and she just talked about weird things, and I was like, there's something not right about her. Like, I called her a voodoo priestess. Like, I was like, I'm not going around that voodoo priestess. Like, she's crazy. Something's wrong with her. Just the way that she talked, I knew it was something like out of this world or outlandish stuff. But that was then. Like, um, she just was talking about weird things that I had never heard about. You see these types of things in like um, movies with like sorcerers and witches and warlocks, but you don't think that they really are real. You never, as a child, you just don't think that they really exist. And with her, I'm in my 20s, and I'm like, this is some weird stuff. Like, she keeps talking about like weird things and something off about her. But even then, I've never been one to just like off the bat judge someone. Like, you've got to give me a reason to look at you in a weird way, or or not want to be around you even. You've got to give me a personal reason. So I remember she really wanted to marry his father. She really wanted to have children with his father. Um, I don't know why he didn't marry her, and I don't know why she was never able to have children with him, but for whatever reason, she was not able to produce children with his father. So here I go at some point in time. I end up, getting pregnant with my firstborn. And she was like, "Oh, I'm so happy. I'm going to be a grandma for the first time." And I'm just like, okay. You know, it was just weird. It's like, it was just weird. But anyways, so I remember going over to his grandparents' house with him, and I had fallen asleep on the couch. My belly's all big. Due at any time, and she's made an effort to like send CDs to me, like with music that she's put on there for me to listen to for the baby, and clothes and all types of things. She wants to take me out to eat, different things like that. Not so bad, right? So one day I'm over to his grandparents' house and I fall asleep on the couch. And you know how when you're waking up from a sleep and you're kind of like in a haze, um, you're kind of like, um, not all the way there just yet. Um, that's how I was. So I'm waking up from my sleep, and she's sitting directly across from me on a couch, directly across from me. And she was staring at me intensely. It wasn't so much that she was sitting there that freaked me out. It's that she was staring at me like intensely, like that. And so I'm waking up and I'm like getting myself together. I'm like looking at her like, what the hell is your problem, lady? Like, why are you staring at me like that? And she immediately went from this to, hey, I was wondering when you were going to wake up. You hungry? You want something to drink? And I'm like, no, no, thank you. At that point, I'm like, okay, it's something really wrong with you. I don't trust you. You can't feed me nothing. You can't give me nothing to drink. I don't want anything from you. Um, so it was just crazy. She would do weird things like that. And her eagerness to always want to like jump up and get me something to drink, jump up and get me something to eat. Like I might ask the person I'm with, like, I'm really thirsty. Can you, get me something to drink? And before they can jump up and get it, she's like, I'll go get it. And she'll run and go and get it. And she'll stay gone for like long periods of time. And I'm like, is she spitting in my drink? Like, what does she do? I just was like, I turned to the person I was with and I'm like, I'm not drinking whatever she brings back. I don't want it. You go get up and get me something to drink. So, so he's like, okay. So she's like, well, I brought you something to drink. I'm like, no, thank you. She's like, well, you don't want what I brought you? I'm like, no, no, thank you. Weird stuff like that. Like, or I'll turn to him and I'm like, I'm really hungry. Can we go and get something to eat? And she's like, I have food here. I'll cook you something. You don't have to leave. Like she was like I felt like I was being maybe like forced to stay around her or something. Like it was just really weird. And I was like, no, I'm ready to go home. No, thank you. It was just like the energy that I was getting from her was really weird. And she was like, when you have the baby, y'all can go off and, go where you want to go. We'll keep the baby, we'll take care of it, and I was like, I'm not really planning on going anywhere, and I was like, I'm not really planning on going anywhere and leaving my baby like that at all. And she was like, no, you need to get out. As a young mom, you're going to need to get out and go off, take a second honeymoon. We'll keep the baby the whole time. I'm like, okay, so no, like, why would you want to keep, like, why do you keep, it was just something really off. Like, you know how if you get an off feeling from somebody, you know what I'm talking about. That's what I got from her. So it was just weird. But anyways, my first level of protection was sea salt. I actually um, I actually went to my late aunt about the situation. I was like, she's just really weird. Like, she's always offering like it's just the energy. Like, it's just the way that she moves. Something is off about her. And I was like, I just really don't, trust her. I was like, she comes to my house sometimes. Um, it's just really weird. When we go over there, it's like I'm the only one that's ready to go. And the person that I'm with, like, he's oblivious to everything, like almost like he has a spell or some sort over him. Like, he doesn't understand why I want to leave. He wants to stay. He thinks I'm like over the top for wanting to leave. He thinks I'm over the top for wanting to leave, all of those different things. And she was like, okay, so sea salt. Take some sea salt and line your front door with it. And I'm like, wait, like, how do you know what to do? That was kind of weird to me. But I was actually happy that she did know, like, what to do. Um, but she knew what to do, nevertheless. And she's like, line your front door with sea salt and envision divine love and light, you know, just kind of like a shield, a protective shield of divine love and light going over your whole house throughout every room. Um, and then once you do your whole house and you visualize that divine love is all throughout and covering your home, um, then you want to envision divine love all over yourself as well as all the family members in your home. You don't have to tell them that you're doing this because it's a form of protection. You don't want to weird anyone out, but just visualize the divine love and light over each of the family members inclusive of yourself. And anything that is not of divine love and light will not want to stay in your home. Do this every day and you'll start to get good at it. You'll start to get faster at it the more you do it. And I'm like, what is this that she's telling me to do? I've never heard of this. But the witchiness inside of me is screaming like, yeah, finally, some weird offlandish stuff that's like, I like it. But anyways, um, so I did that. And the person I'm seeing, their father and her, they come over one day. And she was like, like looking around as she came in the house. And I was just watching her. Like, and I was trying not to be obvious, but I couldn't take my eyes off of her. And she's just looking around and then she sits down and then she stands up and she's like, do you have anything to drink? I'm like, sure, I'll get it for you. So I get her something to drink. She sits down and then she's, like tapping her feet and she gets up and paces a little. And I'm like, what in the heebie jeebies? So then she's like, I'm ready to go, to the person I'm with, his father. She's like, I'm ready to go. So he's like, what? We just got here. And she's like, I need to go. I need to go. I have something I have to do. And he's like, we're not going anywhere. We just got here. Like, we literally just got here. She was like, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home now. And I'm like watching her like, it's working. So then she's like, okay, well, I'm going for a walk. So she leaves out of my house and starts like walking around in the neighborhood, I guess. I'm like, wow. So He's like, I'm sorry about that. His father's like, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's gotten over her. Just be acting crazy sometimes. I don't know. So I'm thinking to myself, I know what's gotten into her. Like, that's crazy. So um, then she comes back in, maybe like after being outside for like 30 minutes. She comes back in. She's like, I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to go now. Do you understand? Give me the keys if you're not ready to go. So he was like, I'll be back, y'all. I'm going to take her on home. I was like, okay. And they left out, and she did not return back to my home again. Sea salt, divine love and protection, visualization. Very strong, powerful way to um, put protection over yourself, your home, and your family. Okay. So I'm going to go into a few other forms of protection, but I'll be right back.